Assalamu alaikum students. This is Farwa Batul, your O-level computer science instructor, and welcome to another video. This video is about arithmetic operators that we use in programming. So these arithmetic operators are basically helpful in order to do calculations with respect to mathematical numbers. Yes, if you have two integers, 12 and 3, and you want to add them, you want to multiply them, divide them, or you want to do any mathematical operation on them, you have to use these arithmetic operators in programming. So how we can do that? Look at the table below. This table is representing that how many operators you can apply on different numbers. So the first one here is add, plus, minus is subtract. This static is for multiplication, hash, this slash is for division, and this cap is for raised to the power, and this one mod is the remainder division, and this div function is the integer division. So these are the functions of arithmetic operators that we can use. And look at different programming languages. Here I have Python, then my Visual Basic, and the third option we have is Java. So it's up to you that which option you like or which programming language you want to use in order to apply all of these arithmetic operators. For me, I'm going to use Python as my programming language in order to explain you these arithmetic operators: plus, add, subtract, multiply, divide. Look at this: add, subtract, multiply will be used, static will be used for multiplication, slash will be used for division, double static will be used for raised to the power of. So in the next, here you can see that it is activity 8.9. So we will be, actually I have already done this activity. I'm gonna explain you that how I did this. So it is all about using arithmetic operators that I just told you. Now let me quickly go towards the question. In the high level programming language that your school has chosen to use, write and test a short program to perform all these mathematical operations and output the results. So what you have to do, first you have to do perform or simply write a program. So the programming language here that I will be using is Python. In Python, I'm going to write down all of this particular line of code that is going to represent each of these commands that are presented in the question. So look at this. Input two numbers. First of all, you need to have two variables. What are the variables? Number one, number two. Some value will be entered into this variable by the user. Then once the user will give us two numbers, we have to do the addition operation between them, subtraction, multiplication, division, raised to the power. And then once we do all these five mathematical operations between two numbers, then we are going to input another number, that is number 3. It will be saved in the variable named number 3, and after that these three different calculations will be done. So let's quickly move towards the code for Python. This is the code that I am going to use in order to solve this activity. Look at this. This code is written in Python as my programming language. Here I'm going to explain everything that I have did. So the first thing here is two variables, number 1 and number 2. These variables are going to store the numbers that user is going to give us. So since it is an input, you will be using input statement, and in the input statement, in this quotations, you are giving the message to the user that what he has to enter. So let me just quickly write down output here so that it will be easier for us to understand. The first thing in the output screen that is visible to the user is enter first number. Okay, so this is the message that the user is going to see. Once he see enter first number, he will give, let's suppose, 4 as input value. Then this 4 will be converted into int. What is int? Int is representing integer data type. If you will not do this conversion, then your input value will be treated as a string, and we cannot do any calculation on a string value. So that's why it is very important to convert a number that is taken as input into an integer value or a float value or a double value. Depends upon what you want to have for input. So here I want integer values. So I will convert my input numbers to an integer using int keyword outside my input statement. Once it is converted, then it will be stored in the variable named as number1. Same goes for number2. It's written the output message enter second number. So the user will see enter second number. Once he sees this, what will happen here? The user must enter another number, let's suppose 2. So 2 will be converted into an integer value and then it will be stored in number 2. So we can simply write it as number 1 is 4 and number 2 is, the value is 2 that is inside number 2. Now see all of these print statements. These are your output statements that are going to show us the calculations that we will be doing in these two numbers. So look at this. The first one is sum of numbers. This is your output message that is displayed to the user. Sum of numbers, because this is in quotations. Then you will be putting a colon as specified here. Then next you can see that you have a formula here. Sorry, not here. We are doing sum. So it is number 1 plus number 2. According to this formula, what will happen? 4 plus 2. The result will be 6. So here 6 is going to be printed as sum of numbers. Now the next thing is subtraction of numbers. It is your display message. We will be writing it as it is, subtraction of. I'm also going to show you everything on Python online compiler, but once I explain you this, subtraction of numbers, then colon, after colon it will calculate this number 1 minus number 2. So it is 4 minus 2. It becomes 2. So 2 is going to be printed after this display message. Now the next thing is, it is another print statement showing us the multiplication of numbers. So we will simply see here multiplication of numbers. Okay, then you have colon. Here the multiplication will be number 1 multiplied by number 2. So 4 into 2 equals 2. So sorry, not 2, 4 into 2 is 8. So 8 is going to be the result of multiplication. Next you have division of numbers. So it will be written here as division of numbers, colon, and after that it is number 1 divided by number 2. So it is 4 slash 2 and the result will be 2, because when 4 is divided by 2 it will be 2. So 2 will be printed on the screen. Now the next thing is raised to the power of numbers. So we can calculate raise to the power of numbers. And here how you can calculate this? See, number 1 is 4. Steric, double steric means power 2. Number 2 is 2. So in other words, it is 4 raised to the power 2, which is 4 multiplied by 4. And we know that 4 into 4 is 16. So after colon, you are going to see 16 as your result of raised to the power of numbers. Now, next, once all of these calculations are done for number 1 and number 2. The question says that now you have to input another number, that is number 3. So what is the message that will be displayed to the user? It is enter third number. So we will be writing this, enter third number. Once you do it, now let's suppose the third number user enters is another 2. So 2 is going to be stored in number 3. It can be any number. In my example, I'm just assuming that it is 2. So let's see now what will be the result of the calculations. So the first calculation will be number 3 multiply by sum of number 1 and number 2. So this message will be printed as it is. Why I have written this? You can write any of your message that you want. Let's suppose calculation 1 or formula 1, whatever. But here I'm writing it, this one, the same thing that is being calculated, in order to tell you that what is being done. So it is number 3 is actually multiplying with the sum of number 1 and number 2. So what will happen here, and then you will have an equal sign. So I'm just going to calculate here for you. Number 3 is 2. 2 multiply by number 1 is 4 multiply by 2. Sorry, it's not multiply, it's actually plus. So 4 plus 2, it is 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 is multiplied by 2, so the answer will be 12. So I hope you are getting this. Here I can write 12, number 3 multiplied by number 1 plus number 2 equals 12. Now I'm erasing this because this is for your explanation. Let's move towards the next calculation. It is number 3 multiplied by number 1 minus number 2. So this time number 3 is multiplying with the subtraction, with the result of subtraction of number 1 and number 2. So let me just quickly do it for you. Number 3 is actually, sorry for this. Number 3 is 2. So 2 is multiplied with 4 minus 2. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 multiplied by 2 is going to be 4. So 4 is your answer for the second calculation. So I'm writing it over here. Now let's quickly do the last one. In the last one, number 1 plus number 2, it is the sum, and then there is a raised to the power cap, and after that it's number 3. So I'm going to tell you that how we can do that. Okay, first I'm writing the display message to the user, or the text that will be displayed as it is. Number 1 brackets, this is telling what is actually being done. Number 1 plus number 2, 2, and then cap number 3. So let's calculate this, equal to, here you can see that number 1 is 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6, cap 2, or raised to the power 2. So here it is 4 plus 2, 8. Sorry, not 8, 6 raised to the power 2. So it is 6 into 6, which will be 36. So 36 is going, sorry, I need to complete it. Multiply by 6, 36. So here I write 36. That is my last calculation that is needed in this question. Now, what you have to do, just write down this particular code in an online Python compiler so that you can see the result practically. Now, the next step is I'm going to take you to the Python online editor in order to show you the result of this. Here we go. This is my Python online compiler that you can use, and you can Google it, and there will be a lot of examples for you there. You can choose any one that you like. So the Python online compiler, it's the same code that I have explained you. First, the user is going to input two numbers. It will be stored in number 1 and number 2. Then the following 5 calculations will be done. Next, there will be number 3 that is taken as input, and finally 3 calculations will be done as specified your in the question. So we will quickly run this program. I'm just writing down the same numbers that we have just saw in the in solving this particular code. So first number was 4, second number was 2. Now see the calculation. Sum is 4 plus 2 6, subtraction is 4 minus 2 2, multiplication is 4 into 2 8, and division is 4 divided by 2, that's 2. Now raised to the power is 4 raised to the power 2, 4 4s are 16. Now let's quickly enter the third number, that is, let's suppose 2. Now press enter. Here you can see that it is the same result as expected. Sum 6. Then 6 is multiplied with number 3, that is 2. 6 2s are 12. Next formula, number 1 minus number 2 was 2. 2 multiplied by 2 was 4. And the last one was, the sum was 6, and then 6 raised to the power 2. 6 6 is 36. So this is the expected results. Thank you so much for watching this video. In the next video, we will be starting with the logical operations, because that are also very important. Boolean operators and the logical operators, this will be covered in the same video. So keep watching, stay tuned, stay connected, and do not forget to subscribe the channel. Bye bye.